It is your role as the instructor in the course to identify plagiarism that may occur. Turnitin is a great tool available to you in order to do so. But it's important to note that it's just a tool. It has to be used properly in order to effectively and correctly identify plagiarism instances in your course. So we're going to talk about how you can best interpret your Turnitin reports. You'll see that every time a submission is submitted to Turnitin, it will receive a similarity score. The similarity score will have a color code associated with it, ranging from 0 all the way up to 100%. You'll see the 0% as a blue icon all the way up to the red icon. You can view all of the score icons at a glance in the grades area of your Canvas course. You can also view the percentage score and color code on the speed grader page of each individual student submission. When reviewing your student submissions, Turnitin will compare them to multiple repositories of documents, including active and archived web pages, periodicals, and previous student submissions at Embry-Riddle and other institutions. It's important to note that you do not always want to look for a certain score. For example, a score above 25% does not always mean that a work has been plagiarized, and a similarity score below 25% does not automatically mean the student has not plagiarized. You really need to manually interpret the score. The score is not a percentage of a student's submissions that has been plagiarized, it is a similarity score. So that means whatever percentage score the submission receives, that percentage is similar in some way to another document in the Turnitin repository. You'll see when we look at an actual submission example that there can be a wide range in just how similar a submission is to other documents or how exact of a match it can be. Now we're on the speed grader page in Canvas for a sample assignment, and at the top right of your page you can see the actual color-coded icon for the similarity score for this submission and the actual percentage of the similarity score. In this case it is 34%. If you click on that icon, it will open up the detailed Turnitin report. And this is so important for you to review carefully. You don't want to just look at the score. It's important to look through that detailed report. At the top right of this Turnitin report, again, you'll see that similarity score. You'll also see a match overview, and that's going to give you an overview of all of the resources, references, and previous submissions that were similar in some way to your student's submission. And they're going to be organized in order of most similar to least similar. So you can see at the top of this page, one item had 10% of a similarity match to this example submission, all the way down to 1%. Now, if we look at the matches on the student's document, you'll see there's a number with each group of highlighted text. If you click on that number, a pop-up window will open with a text that was similar in some way to the highlighted text of the student's submission. We can see here the bold blue words are what were similar to our submission, but at a glance it is clear that it is not anything questionable, it is just similar language. And that can be the case for many of your references. You can see here for reference 12, reference 11, it's pretty common language if you're referring to commonly used phrases or frequently used terminology in your field. You might find that that just matches anyways because students at other institutions are probably using the same terminology or language. You also can see here this is a direct quote, so right away we can tell that it's been properly cited using APA formatting, so it's obviously a match, but we're not concerned about it being plagiarism. Now I want to point out, if you select this, you can see that it matches a submission to another university, and so Turnitin is not going to be able to give you the specific quote or reference that it's matching to, because that would be a violation of student privacy, but you can tell that it is somewhat of a match. That can make it a little more difficult to actually interpret the report. So what you would want to look for there is if it's properly cited, if it's a large chunk of text that is similar in some way to the other resource, that would then be possibly an item of concern. Now, I also want to point out, if you scroll down, you'll see that the references page has a lot of different matches on it, and that's pretty common, and it's probably the large majority of this overall Turnitin score. So you have the option, if you'd like, to go down to the filter button, and you can exclude quoted material as well as the bibliography from the student submission. If we apply those changes, you'll see now our similarity score has significantly reduced and we're down to 4%. And we can go back and review and see what our matches are. So that's a quick way to see how many direct quotes your students have used and how much of the paper was in their own words.